Hey, and hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of CTS Biz Talk. I'm your usual host, Frank Stevens, and I hope you guys are doing well. For today's topic, which is technology trends for accounting firms, I brought in one of our resident experts, Caesar. Caesar, how's it going?
Doing good, doing good. Hope you're doing well, and everyone that's watching.
Yes, indeed. So thanks for joining us. I know you're busy. You've been with CTS for a couple years now, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
couple
So
years.
one of your areas is you've been working with me a lot with the accounting firms, so you know the ins and outs, their technology needs, their business needs, and all the pains that they go through, especially during tax season. And we get very, very creative with technology solutions to make their lives easier and make them more efficient and more
Yep.
profitable. So thank you again. So why don't you talk to us? What are you seeing out there? Obviously we're into the middle of 2025. You're starting to have the conversations with our accounting firms. And what are you guys looking to do? What should people be focusing on?
Yeah, no, I mean, in the year 2025, we're seeing a lot more talk about AI. And recently, a lot of the accounting firms are wanting to integrate that into their environment. How can this feature help them? And, one of the main points is accounting firms have so much files, so much data on their file server that they can't possibly know where everything is located. And one idea was, hey, let's have AI scrub through all these files, and in that 5 seconds of waiting, they're able to pull all this information for you. So there has been talks about getting something like that implemented at one of our clients, and if they decide to proceed, that would be a fun project to get implemented for them and have them work away harder
Got it.
and faster.
So from an AI perspective, are we talking like a co-pilot kind of thing, or are we talking about a vendor specific? Specifically, like what are they trying to accomplish, and what kind of data is that digesting essentially?
Yeah, no, I mean, the main one was Copilot. I know with Copilot, you could create some APIs where they sit on your server, scan through your file, cache all that information. And as working through Teams, you have Copilot right there. So one click away, ask Copilot question, and boom, got your
Done.
information right there.
Yeah. Security wise, I think I did a podcast a couple weeks ago. Are the accountants partners, are they concerned about the data and the sensitivity of the data?
Yeah, as Microsoft has put forums out there about the data security because that is a primary concern. You don't want someone to have unintended access to this and be able to store it for themselves. For the most part, it is secure. You do have to implement the right steps, though, configure it properly. As long as you have that configuration set in place,
Hmm.
that data is secure.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
securing your environment.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm going to understand, your especially if you have the proper version of it, you're not using some freebie of ChatGPT or the demo or beta of Copilot. Your data stays within your tenant, and it is totally segmented from the rest of the world. So, huge question that I always hear as well. So, outside of AI, what kind of projects are we looking at? What kind of excitement else is going on?
Yeah, you know, in this day and age, everything is being moved to the cloud. Like a lot of people are more enticed with the idea of, hey, I don't have to host this software no more. It saves me power, management, support on this product. And CCH, they're moving their products to the cloud. I know
Yep,
a lot of accounting software or accounting they need to be hosted on the server. You need to buy a server. Now you have to manage that server, get everything configured, worry about updates. Now you don't have to do that. The accounting software, the vendor, they're gonna manage all that. All you have to do is log into their website and access the features through there.
yeah, super easy stuff. I mean, the downside though is there's an increased cost, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
And I'm constantly having that conversation. So I mean, of course, as I always say, we're solution agnostic, but we've got clients that are using CCH products, the on-premise ProFX, CCH Access, which is cloud-based. You've got your Lacert, you got your UltraText, you got your Drake, and and the question that accounting firms need to have is, do we want to be in the server hosting business? Like, is that one more headache that we need to manage? I mean, from us as the managed service provider and the trusted provider, we're indifferent, right? I mean, for us, yeah, there's that ongoing cost of server maintenance, which is typically, patch management. You got an EDR license or endpoint detection license. That's around $12. Just the management of the server overall. So there are some costs that kind of go away, and the real question is the size of your firm, and when you shift that on-premise costs and efforts to the cloud, does it outweigh it? And that's a personal decision. So there's no right or wrong. And and correct me if I'm wrong, I think the majority of our clients are hybrid, right? So it's not 100% cloud-based, it's not 100% on-premise, it's a mix, and you decide what makes sense to go cloud versus on-premise. So
yeah, no, yeah, you're correct. Like, most of them are hybrid. They have their own servers just purely to host ProFX, but they have CCH access to for their other side of business. So it depends on the cost. Is it better for you just to have everything on the cloud, or is it more sense to have a server and host it on there?
correct.
Whatever situation works for you. I mean, we'll work with you, set it up properly, and make sure you guys are happy with the service.
Yeah. One of the things, and I've been working with accounting firms for over 15 years or something like that. It's you've got your core group of number crunchers, employees, contractors that are on premise, and then you've got people that are traveling. They're doing their audits. They're meeting with clients. And one of the challenges that a lot of them have, especially small, mid-sized organizations, so firms between 10 and say upwards to 50, is how do you make it that the data is quickly accessible? Because if you're doing something like ProFX, for example, or even Lacert, the amount of data when you make that connection from your client to the server, it's a lot. It's a lot of data. It's database driven. If there's any kind of fluctuations or latency or poor connections, like it shits the bed. Let's call it how it is, right?
Yeah.
So if you are at home and you're VPN'd in, you got a problem, right? And so let's talk about some of the solutions that we've come up with that I think have been, it's really starting to become best practices.
Yeah, no, like you said, having you accessing this data, like QuickBooks, for example, not a fun time to use over VPN. Let me say, it's a lot of data, and that data is just not happy with traveling over a VPN connection because so many factors come into play. And if you have a slow connection, I mean, it's not going to be a fun time. So, the solution that we usually provide is we set up a remote server for the client. Now, whether that remote server is on premise or on the cloud, I mean, it's totally up to the cost that the client wants to pay. Now, with cloud, you don't have to worry about management on prem, having to buy a host. You just pay that monthly fee to keep up the virtual machines.
Yeah.
But most we have on prem, they already have the server there, so we're easily able to just spin up a virtual machine, set up the remote desktop. All needed then is the licensing and get the software installed.
Yeah, and away you go. And the most important thing, and I always stress when our clients and we're having those conversations with them, hey, we want to spin up a remote server on premise. I still want people to VPN in, and then obviously over the VPN it's just keyboard mouse input. So all the data never technically leaves the facility. So the internet connection would be, but it is crucial to have a secondary internet connection. If you're in the Chicagoland area, you've got Comcast, right? Like it goes down. Like that is just what it is. If you've got the Comcast fiber, you have definitely much higher SLA or uptime. But if you're on a traditional coax, even if you're using RCN, I'm not going to pick on Comcast, but anything that is not a dedicated circuit like a fiber, it has its ups and downs, and that's where you need to bring in redundancy on both internet connections. And then you bind it with an SD-WAN where you blend them together, and it's essentially one connection. That has been a lifesaver for, I think, many of our accounting firms, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, especially tax season, it's crucial to have that uptime. I mean, having 2-hour downtime, it's a possibility with coax connections. I mean, some clients they could be down for 3 hours, and that's because something happened in the area, and hey, Comcast says we're trying to get it resolved, but
Correct.
it's kind of gonna be 4 to maybe the next day. It's it's definitely a mess, but it's definitely a very high consideration to have when you're thinking about uptime. Hey, how
Yeah,
important do I need to be able to work constantly daily,
yeah,
especially during tax season?
yeah. So, what else is going on in the accounting world that people are concerned about? Is cybersecurity a huge thing still, I assume?
Oh yeah. I mean, nowadays it's super important to have it. I mean, we're seeing so many news stories of high firms getting breached. I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy at this point. It's a must. I mean, if you don't have anything in place, you definitely need to be considering it because who are the hackers going to look for? You know, the small, easy businesses to get data off of, or these big corporations where maybe I could get something, but at the end of the day, I'll just target the smaller people that have that one layer of security and hey, I got all this data. You know,
I'm, accounting firms are a gold mine for hackers.
oh yeah. I mean, the amount of data that accounting firms hold, manage, I mean, it's it's a no-brainer for them to go after them rather
Correct.
than these other businesses where they obviously invested the money into security. So
100%.
it's definitely a must on someone's to-do list to do. I mean, it's having that peace of mind where, hey, am I gonna get hacked because I'm just trusting Windows Defender here to do its
Correct.
job?
So let's talk about what a proper, and let's get a little bit into the weeds. Like, what is a typical cybersecurity stack that you would recommend? Like, what are the solutions for a typical accounting firm?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta start with the workstation because that's where
Okay.
you mainly work off. Having a
Yep.
good EDR solution. I mean, that's number one.
Okay.
Have a good EDR so that way if you're browsing something, it detects it off the bat.
Yep.
Now, after that, you got browsing. What are you going to be searching up? Hey, is this work related or is this personal? Now you need a good firewall to block connections where I don't trust this information that's coming through. I'm going to block it. You know, you want a good firewall where it could detect that type of stuff and put a stop to it before it even enters your environment. So
Yep.
you got that, and then what do you use to communicate with people? You know, you're mainly using email, Outlook. Um, Nowadays, you kind of get hundreds of emails. I mean, depending on who you are, and if it's new clients that constantly email you, you may be getting something that looks real. I mean, nowadays they're getting really creative. Turns out it wasn't real. Now they have access to your account. So you need something good to detect suspicious emails coming in. So you need like proof point,
Yep.
email security,
The
where it
spam
could.
protection solution.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely.
Uh, with that, alongside of it, you want MXDR, something that could work alongside with Office 365 on-prem, where if it detects suspicious connections, it's gonna block it. I mean, for most people, you're gonna be in the USA. I mean, it's kind of rare that you're gonna be across the country, like in Africa,
Yep.
because a lot of hacking is coming overseas. So
Correct.
you need that software that already does that thinking within a second if it detects something suspicious.
Yeah. And going on that, where you're almost, I don't want to call it geofencing, but that's what it kind of is on the Microsoft side, right? If you majority of our clients are all 365 Microsoft 365, there are security controls that you could put in place to stop those, so it's all traffic being blocked from a login perspective. And that's something that, like, when we pick up a new clients all the time, absolutely nobody has ever touched the change control and all those processes. So that's one thing that I know we are actively doing, but they should be continuous doing for all people. um
Mm-hmm.
what else do we miss? I think security awareness training, that is super powerful, where we're training the end users a lot on what to look for in the event that something slips through the firewall, slips through proof point, slips through everything else. At the end, it's up to that human to make sure that hey, this doesn't look or smell right. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, not everything's gonna be 100% perfect. I mean,
yep,
everything's imperfect in a way.
yeah,
For the time that it is imperfect, that 1% chance that it slips through, it is the end user's job at that point to detect, hey, this is suspicious. I wasn't expecting this. It's asking me to sign into my Office account for some reason to access
Yeah,
a file that I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
It's those key points where in that email, hey, this is suspicious. Let me report it and block it.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing we could talk for hours on this stuff, right? All the different layers that we can do. I know this isn't cybersecurity related, but to me, SaaS protection is super powerful. What SaaS protection or backs up is like Microsoft. I don't care if you're Microsoft, Google, whoever you are. In many cases, um, they provide the service, they'll host your data, but at the end of the day, they're only giving you 30 to 60 days of retention. So if you need to come back and do restorations, if there's any kind of accidental deletions or anything like that, you can immediately restore stuff from anywhere. So if you guys are using SharePoint out there or Teams, you need to restore a file, OneDrive, whatever it may be, Google Drive, that is a great option. So to me, that's like my last line of defense from a cybersecurity if there is a breach or something like that, because it has capabilities of detecting falsehoods and stuff like that. So awesome. Any other tips or tricks for the accounting firms out there?
Not that I could think of. I mean,
I
we
think
kind of
we threw a
cover
lot. We
through
threw
a
a lot at
lot.
people, right? Absolutely. Well, Caesar, I appreciate your time. Thank you for the knowledge nuggets, is what I've been calling it lately, and hopefully got some people out there who got some good knowledge nuggets. So,
Yeah, hope so.
all right, thank you much, everyone. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and share out. Thanks,
All
everyone. Have a
right.
great day. Take
Bye.
care.